Good morning. It's Sunday, November 3rd. I'm Lisa Evers in the Fox 5 newsroom. Thank you for joining us live on the Fox Local app. Today is the annual New York City Marathon. It began on the Staten Island side of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge and heads straight into Brooklyn, going through Queens and the Bronx. It ends in Central Park. The first wave kicked off at 8 this morning. More than 50,000 runners from around the world laced up to run the 26.2 miles. Today is the last day for early voting in the city. Polls will be open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They will be closed tomorrow to prep for Election Day. So far, almost 1 million voters in the city have cast their ballots early, according to the Board of Elections. Checking the forecast today, a chilly start with sunshine tonight, clear and cool, tomorrow pleasant. In a race this tight, the Harris and Trump campaigns are doing everything they can to reach undecided voters, even if it means using non-traditional methods. Fox 5's Sharon Crowley explains how candidates are tapping into the power and reach of podcasters.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night.
When Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump appeared on Joe Rogan's podcast, more than 40 million people watched.
Nobody gives up prime time, though, for being president?
For running against 20 some odd people.
Like never before, the candidates running for higher office in 2024 are becoming aware of the power and reach of podcasts. Call her daddy. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris appeared on Call Her Daddy. The provocative and popular podcast appeals to younger women. Call Her Daddy is ranked as Spotify's second highest podcast, right behind Joe Rogan.
It's about IVF treatments and access. It's about access to contraception, which is very much at risk.
Forbes reports an astonishing 100 million Americans listen to podcasts every week.
This is the first time in a presidential election cycle that the podcast circuit has really become a prominent thing.
Ben Max is the editor and program director at New York Law School's Center for New York City Law. He's also host of the Max Politics podcast.
It's certainly a new strategy, and it is about the candidates trying to go in a very fragmented media environment to where they think they can reach voters.
They just want to be heard by as many people as possible. And a lot of these podcasters have the audience to do that, and people listen to them.
Dante Mills is a political strategist. He says whether a candidate's appearance on a podcast pays off at the ballot box remains to be seen.
I don't know if someone will vote the way a podcaster tells them to vote, but it may spark interest enough for them to go, now research this candidate.
Well, it's too soon to know how much podcasters may have influenced this election, but what we do know, candidates have taken notice of podcasters and their listeners and added podcasting to their arsenal of tools to reach voters. Sharon Crowley, Fox 5 News.
Miami Beach is revoking an honor it bestowed on Sean Diddy Combs. TMZ reporting they are planning to take back his key to the city. The disgraced rapper was awarded it 9 years ago for his role in organizing a music conference in Miami Beach, but is being stripped of the honor because of the ongoing sex trafficking case against him. Another American restaurant chain is filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. TGI Fridays announced the move yesterday. The company says it still has not fully recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic. The chain peaked in 2008 with more than 600 restaurants in the U.S. Today, there are now only 163 locations left. Well, Broadway is bouncing back in a big way, with all but one of its 41 theaters set to be open for performances next month. Some weeks have even brought in more money than before the pandemic. Fox 5's Jessica Formoso takes a closer look at what's bringing the audiences back.
The theater industry in New York City is thriving.
I went to see The Play That Goes Wrong. It was full. It was amazing. I mean, I'm here to do a full immersion.
Broadway bouncing back from the pandemic.
We're building momentum. I think the season is going to be incredible. We have an unbelievable slate of shows.
Next month, the lights will be on and the curtains will go up in all but one of the 41 Broadway theaters. The Broadway League says it will be the first month so many venues are active since 2018.
It's pretty remarkable to see this much activity that helps the city with so many jobs and audiences that are just thrilled to be here and seeing shows.
And the number of careers that this industry feeds and the jobs. So everyone from back of house to stagehands, wardrobe, hair, makeup, to musicians, and then the front of house in the venues, whether it's box office or ushers, ticket takers, all of us come together as a community.
And you can tell by this line at the TKTS booth in Times Square.
We went to see Anne Juliet the other night, and that was brilliant. So we're back in for some more.
And how was the theater a couple of nights ago?
Oh, it was full. Cool. It was absolutely filled to the rafters.
If you look at the numbers, Broadway drew more theater goers and ranked in more money at the box office in the week ending October 24th this year than it did in the week ending October 27th of 2019, when business was at its peak.
We had over 280,000 people attending Broadway shows last week. That's people coming in, seeing theater, having a great time, but also spending money on restaurants and other businesses and supporting the city in general.
And for the first time today since 2019, the Broadway League and the Coalition of Broadway Unions and Guilds hosted its annual Broadway Salutes event, which just goes to show how strong the industry is right now.
Today is a culmination of celebrating the community and the fact that Broadway is back.
Crediting tourism for its recovery.
Thanks to the people that make the shows. You have to have shows that people want to see, but it's thanks to the work the city is doing to bring the city back from the pandemic.
In Midtown, I'm Jessica Formoso, Fox 5 News.
A judge has paused the demolition of the Elizabeth Street Garden in Lower Manhattan. Last month, the city issued an eviction notice. It wants to use the 20,000 square foot space to build more than 120 affordable housing units. But a judge ordered a stay of eviction while activists appeal the city's decision. The Adams administration blasted the ruling, saying activists are preventing the city from building affordable housing for seniors. Well, a big balloon fest at MetLife Stadium. 6 brand new giant character balloons for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade took their maiden voyage. There's Minnie Mouse, Extraordinary Nora, and Elf on the Shelf, Gabby from Gabby's Doll House, Goku, Marshall from Paw Patrol, and Spider-Man. Hundreds of handlers got firsthand experience during today's trial run.
So today what we're doing is really debuting all of these balloons for everyone to see what's new and exciting in this year's parade, and we're also testing them to see how they fly in real weather conditions.
The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade starts at 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, November 28th. And members of the WNBA champion New York Liberty will march in this year's parade. Their mascot and social media sensation, Ellie the Elephant, will also be there. Macy's said in a statement, with its renowned All-Stars and Ellie, the Liberty are sure to bring championship energy to this year's parade. Ellie and the Liberty will appear on the Gift of Freedom float, which appropriately will feature a recreation of the Statue of Liberty's torch-bearing hand. A cultural tradition unfolding at the crossroads of the world. People gathered for the Dia de Muertos, paying tribute to loved ones no longer with us. Fox 5's Meredith Gorman takes us to Times Square.
We celebrate the life of the people that were with us and that they are no longer with us.
It's the second annual Dias de Muertos, also known as Day of the Dead celebration in the heart of New York in Times Square. It's a week-long art installation that features live performances on Saturday, and it's all put on by the New York Department of Transportation and Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs.
We do all of this just to remember our family, our people that just passed away. They are not here anymore, but they come to visit us on November 1st and November 2nd, and that's why we are waiting for them, and we offer drinks, we offer food, and that's why is the altar here.
We have a belief that when we put up their photos, that they come back to visit us.
Those celebrating brought different gifts to the altars in remembrance of their loved ones and honored the rich Mexican cultural tradition. They also stopped to see the 4 large Katrina statues on display, as you can see behind me. From Times Square, I'm Meredith Gorman, Fox 5 News.
Fans from around the world are making their way to a small Massachusetts town to see the Norway spruce that will soon be the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. The tree weighs approximately 11 tons and was planted back in 1959. It begins its journey to Rockefeller Center on November 6th. And that does it for us this morning. I'm Lisa Evers. Have a great day. And remember, Fox 5 News is always streaming here on the Fox Local app, where you can also see many of our recent Street Soldier shows.